5 final shape predictions. Let's get into it. So, the Vex will play a major role in the final shape story and will receive new enemy types. Let me clue you in with the pattern recently. You guys know the original enemies in Destiny, the Fallen, the Hive, the Vex, and the Cabal. Since Beyond Light, you have been seeing a pattern with these original races receiving new enemy types, either from the Witness or said from the Traveler. With Beyond Light, we saw the change with the Fallen, being Aramis, being the Fallen's new Stasis Lieutenants, all these new enemies that would use Stasis until we would get them and use it, and we would just obliterate them, obviously. Aramis was just an easy boss fight. Then, going into the Witch Queen, Savathun, the Lucent Brood, and Hive Guardians, we would see them get our own powers, and we would have to face off against them with our new updated Void 3.0 subclasses, but they were pretty cool as a new challenge for us in the Throne World. Going into the latest expansion, the Lightfall, we've seen Tormentors and the Shadow Legion. These Cabal had the powers of the Witness, basically, the true power of the Darkness, and it's one of my ideas to be the next Darkness subclass. But overall, we've seen the original races have a update with their enemy types. Then that would lead us with the last enemy, the Vex, being the enemy we faced off all the way back 10 years ago in the Black Garden, and it would be a full circle moment if we face them again in the final shape. Number 4, the entity behind the Traveler. We guys know the entity that is basically the Darkness at this point, the being that uses the Darkness as a cloak, the Witness, the Thanos of the Destiny universe, here to bring the final shape, the one that will basically bring the entire universe into a nothingness, and, you know, basically, you guys know, it's the final shape, obviously. However, I want to know who the entity behind the Traveler is. I want to know the origins behind the Traveler, the origins behind the Veil. I don't want it to be like, oh, it's from the beginning of time, and that's it. I kind of really want to have more of a, I don't know, storytelling aspect to this, and I'm hoping that we finally find out who has been behind the strings in the Traveler, who we thought was an ally at the beginning of the saga for so long, but has been changed by our perspective of how the Darkness can benefit us. I want to know, who it is. Could it be the Speaker? Could it be that woman that was from a previous cinematic that was cut in the Destiny, original beta stuff? Or is it just going to be something where it's just a paracausal being and we'll never know? I want to know the answer to this, and I'm hopeful that in Final Shape we'll find out that there is an entity behind the Traveler. Number 3, I want the Witness to be the campaign boss and the raid boss. Now, I know a lot of people hate when there's the same boss for a raid in a campaign, but I'm a person who actually enjoyed the Taken King expansion, for example, which had Oryx be the campaign and the raid boss. They did it extremely well. I like the delivery of it in the Throne World, and with the Witness being the villain that I just can't wait to face off, I would love if we could do a campaign with this guy the whole way through, being the boss that we would face off at the end, but not exactly killing it, and then bringing it into the raid being the big bad. I feel like the Witness as a raid boss would just be the best villain out of all, beating Riven, beating any, original raid boss that we've fought in the last couple of years. This could really be the end of the Light and Dark saga, having the Witness be the raid boss, and I don't see any other way that Bungie would try their hardest with this next raid, making it the best raid of the whole saga. So I would see the Witness be the raid boss, and then maybe Xivu Arath or Aramis or some kind of like small disciples, maybe even Nezarec or Rolk might come back if they brought Cake to come back and have them as maybe like another mini boss, maybe just a lot of nostalgic moments from the best of Destiny in this expansion, and just have the Witness be the very end of everything, and as soon as we kill it, that will end off the saga. I don't know how Bungie's going to do it, but hopefully they do it really well. Number 2, the last Darkness subclass. You guys know we've received the 2 Darkness subclasses thus far, being Strand and Stasis. We've been having for the last decade now the 3 powers of the light, Void, Arc, and Solar, and we received the Aspect and Fragment system that made the supers and subclasses overall just that much better. Now looking at it from this picture, it would only make sense for Bungie to release one more to balance the light and the dark being 3 and 3. Bungie has, the option to not do another darkness subclass. For example, if they were going to do a new enemy race for the final shape, I feel like that's okay and they don't need to make a third one. We desperately don't really need to have a third subclass. It would be really nice to have, but if Bungie was not going to do a new enemy type, I would feel that making another one, the last power being the power of the Witness, the power that we saw Callus use, the power that we saw Rolk use being that yellow, orange, red type power, having that as the last subclass for the darkness, the pure power of the Witness, that would be really cool to have. And I think Bungie could pull off a new power fantasy with it being inside the final shape. This is the last time for them to make a subclass. They can't make a darkness one after the final shape because obviously the light and dark saga would be over. This is the last time for Bungie, but they don't really release two, new subclasses back to back. They have a new one and then they wait a couple years, at least one or so, and then they release another one at that next year. So time will tell, but making one more subclass, oh my god, that would be amazing. Please do it, Bungie. Now, honorable mention before we get into number 1, I love Destiny villains, and I love the villains if they're given proper storytelling. I don't like villains of the week, and if they have good storytelling, I'm going to enjoy them, basically. And one of the villains, for example, that I hated for a while and then I started to enjoy was Aramis. She wasn't given a good story in Beyond Light, really very lackluster, I would say, and then over time in Seraph and Plunder, there was a good storytelling beat with her and, of course, obviously, Mithrax. Now, going into the final shape, one of the villains that I really want to see is Xivu Arath. Now, we faced off the Hive siblings, all but except her. We face Oryx in the Taken King, really good delivery. We face Savathun in the Witch Queen, great delivery too. Now, the Hive God of War is the last one to face off. Right now in Season of the Deep, we've been hearing her voice lines for the first time, but we haven't seen her on the big screen. I'm hopeful that if not in these next couple of seasons, Xivu Arath will need to be revealed in the final shape if they're going to build her up as the next big bad. I don't want them to go and kill her off at the very beginning of the final shape or in a mission, but if they were going to, make her the big bad for the next saga, or just make her like a villain in the shadows, Xivu Arath needs to be shown on the big screen in the final shape. I would love to see her finally, just the Hive Knight. I feel like they did so well with Oryx. They did really well with Savathun. I really want to see what they have planned for Xivu Arath. And that leads us to number 5. That the next destination inside the Traveler, inside the portal, will be the most epic place we've ever been in. I want to think of this place that's inside the Traveler as maybe a vortex of space and time. Now, I don't know if this will be the place of the Traveler itself and it's just like a realm like the Black Garden, or if it's literally like a portal to a place where all time and space, interconnect. Similar if you watch the Marvel movies with the MCU of how everything is connected, how cool would it be if timelines from all the Destiny universe is all connected into this? I would just find it to be, a bit crazy, but it would be really cool. How cool would it be if every universe, every expansion that we've been in would be connected into this destination? We would see a Dreadnought from the Taken King, maybe even Siva enemies from Rise of Iron, maybe even Gaul come back. If you go bring Kate come back, you can bring anybody. You can bring Rolk, you can bring Nezarec, you can bring the Speaker, on and on. You could really just bring everyone who has died back again for the last time in this saga. I would see Bungie conclude everything with the saga, not being, everything totally, but they could bring a majority of things into this into this destination. Feel like with Kay coming back, the opportunity to add anything is endless, and I would see them go all out with this, as well as the raid, because obviously the raid should be a part of this destination as well, and I would love to see the Witness be the raid boss in that. But yeah, guys, that sums up the video. If you guys did enjoy, please let me know your thoughts on this. I would love to know all your thoughts in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe to help us get to 30K. But other than that, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys.